We are exposing the soap brands millions of Americans use every single morning, and what is actually inside them. Because the bar or bottle sitting in your shower right now, there is a real chance it is not legally allowed to call itself soap. Not a technicality. Not fine print. The FDA has a definition for real soap, and most of what fills the personal care aisle does not meet it. So the label says beauty bar or cleansing bar instead. Smaller font. Front of the package. Easy to miss for decades. And that is just the labeling. The ingredients hiding behind the word fragrance, which companies are not required to disclose, is a whole separate problem. 5 of the most trusted soap brands in America are on the avoid list, and 5 brands that actually do what they claim are on the other side. Let's get into it. Number 5. Irish Spring. This is the green bar, the one that has smelled like a pine forest and a locker room simultaneously since the 1970s. It built its entire identity around rugged outdoor freshness. The color, the scent, the no-nonsense image. Both of those signature qualities are produced by ingredients worth looking at more carefully. That green color comes from FD&C Blue No. 1 and 5010 Green No. 5. Both are petroleum-derived synthetic dyes. They serve exactly one function: making the bar visually recognizable on a shelf. No cleaning purpose, no skin benefit. They exist so you can spot that bar from across the aisle and reach for it without slowing down. The scent is more consequential. Irish Spring's smell is produced by synthetic fragrance, and that term is a legal black box. Under FDA rules, companies are not required to disclose what is actually inside a fragrance formula, because it qualifies as a trade secret. The single word fragrance on an ingredient list can legally represent dozens of individual compounds the consumer cannot identify from the label. Why that matters? The Environmental Working Group and independent researchers have documented that synthetic fragrance formulations commonly contain phthalates, chemical plasticizers that published scientific research has linked to endocrine disruption, developmental concerns, and hormonal impacts. Because phthalates inside a fragrance designation never have to appear on the label, someone reading the Irish Spring ingredient list has no way of knowing whether those compounds are present in the bar they use every day. The primary surfactant is sodium lauryl sulfate. SLS is an industrial-strength detergent that strips the skin's natural protective oil layer. For anyone with sensitive skin, eczema, or aging skin prone to dryness, it is one of the more problematic ingredients for daily contact. The Environmental Working Group rates multiple Irish Spring products with scores reflecting significant ingredient concerns. A bar marketed for decades as clean and refreshing may be delivering the exact compounds most likely to dry out and irritate the skin of the people trusting it most. Irish Spring is made by Colgate-Palmolive, a Fortune 500 company that also owns Softsoap, Palmolive dish soap, and Colgate toothpaste. 4 of the most recognized household names in America under one corporate roof, which means the next brand on this list is not a coincidence. Number 4. Softsoap. If Irish Spring is the bar people grab without thinking, Softsoap is the pump that refills on autopilot. It is so embedded in the rhythm of the American kitchen sink and bathroom counter that most households have stopped thinking of it as a purchase decision. It is just what goes in the dispenser. It also comes from Colgate-Palmolive, same parent company, same corporate decision-making history. And that history is relevant before we even get to the ingredient list. When the FDA banned triclosan from antibacterial hand soaps in 2016, the finding was unambiguous. Manufacturers could not prove triclosan was safe for long-term daily use, formed plain soap and water at preventing illness. Colgate-Palmolive's response was not to remove triclosan across all of its products. It lobbied to keep triclosan in Colgate Total toothpaste, and succeeded by presenting clinical data specific to gum disease. The FDA accepted that narrow exemption while simultaneously acknowledging triclosan's documented associations with hormonal disruption, antibiotic resistance, and environmental persistence. The same company asking consumers to trust it with daily personal hygiene was fighting a federal agency to retain a chemical of concern in its flagship toothpaste. The everyday Softsoap formula pumped onto hands across millions of households multiple times a day contains sodium lauryl sulfate, synthetic fragrance, and a range of preservatives and stabilizers, including parabens in certain product lines. The Environmental Working Group has flagged a combination of synthetic fragrance and inadequate safety data on multiple soft soap products in its Skin Deep database. A household using soft soap at 3 sinks, every member of the family, every day, children, adults, elderly relatives with more permeable skin, is accumulating chronic low-level exposure to an undisclosed fragrance formulation. The cheerful, familiar bottle was never designed to make you think about that. If this video has been useful so far, a quick like helps more people find this information. Now, let's keep going, because the next brand has been promising something far more specific than freshness. It has been promising purity for 145 years, and the problem with that promise runs deeper than the ingredient list. Number 3. Ivory. Procter & Gamble has been making ivory since 1879. The brand has carried one of the longest-running advertising claims in American consumer history: 99 and 44 100% pure. That claim has lived in bathroom cabinets across 4 generations. For many people, particularly those who grew up watching a parent reach for that white bar without a second thought, ivory is not just a product, it is a baseline, the thing you reach for when you want something honest and uncomplicated. Here is the problem. Ivory is not soap. Not legally. Not chemically. Ivory is a syndet bar, a synthetic detergent product not made through saponification. Because it does not meet the FDA's definition of soap, it is legally prohibited from using the word soap on its label. The packaging says beauty bar, not by choice, by legal requirement. The most famous purity claim in American consumer history applies to a product that federal labeling law does not classify as soap. Pure what, exactly? There is no clean answer to that question. The fragrance issue adds another layer, especially given Ivory's specific history. For years, the brand marketed itself as the gentle, fragrance-free option, safe enough for newborn skin. In more recent formulations, Ivory lists fragrance in its ingredient line, while still maintaining a marketing identity built entirely on simplicity. Consumer advocates have pointed to the direct contradiction between that positioning and the presence of undisclosed synthetic fragrance, a designation that provides zero information about what chemical compounds are producing the scent. Procter & Gamble did remove triclosan ahead of the FDA's 2016 ban, and they referenced that decision in their sustainability communications. What they have not done is reformulate the syndet base, or provide any transparency around the fragrance designation on a product whose entire identity rests on a purity claim that has been printed on the bar for 150 years. Ivory is not the most concerning entry on this list. That distinction belongs to 2 brands whose problems moved beyond ingredient lists and into federal courtrooms. Number 2. Dial. Dial is owned by Henkel, a German consumer goods company with annual revenues exceeding 22 billion euros. Its brand identity has always rested on one claim, that its antibacterial formula protects better than regular soap and water. The FDA examined that claim directly. In 2016, the agency banned triclosan and 17 other antibacterial ingredients from hand soap products because manufacturers could not prove those ingredients were safe for long-term daily use and could not demonstrate they outperformed plain soap and water at preventing illness. Brands were given 1 year to reformulate. Dial's response was to replace triclosan with benzalkonium chloride, one of 3 antibacterial chemicals the FDA held back from the ban specifically for further review. Not because it was cleared, because the existing safety data was insufficient to resolve the same questions that sank triclosan. Henkel's Dial All-Day Freshness Antibacterial Soap uses benzalkonium chloride as its active ingredient today. That chemical is currently under continued FDA review for the same unresolved questions. Is it safe for long-term daily use? Does it outperform plain soap and water? Those answers do not exist yet. The Environmental Working Group has raised documented concerns about benzalkonium chloride's potential for skin irritation and its role in contributing to antibiotic resistance. Across the broader Dial product line, sodium lauryl sulfate, synthetic fragrance, and artificial colorants remain standard across formulations. Consider someone who has bought Dial for 30 years because they believe the antibacterial formula was giving their household meaningful extra protection. The FDA reviewed the evidence and determined it does not. That is not a fine print issue. That is the foundational reason the brand exists. And even that is less complicated than what is sitting at number 1. Because number one involves federal lawsuits, greenwashing allegations, and a moisturizing claim that turns out to be something quite different from what the marketing has always implied. Number 1. Dove. Dove is produced by Unilever, one of the largest consumer packaged goods companies on earth. In the United States, Dove is the most recognized personal care brand across body wash, bar, lotion, deodorant, and hair care. The Real Beauty campaign is one of the most analyzed and celebrated marketing efforts in modern advertising history. Dove did not just sell a product, it sold a set of values, gentler, more natural, more transparent than the alternatives. That positioning has been challenged in federal court twice. A class action lawsuit filed in 2024 against Unilever alleged that Dove Men Plus Care and Love Beauty and Planet products labeled as containing between 90 and 97% naturally derived ingredients were, according to the suit, only 80 to 85% naturally derived. The plaintiffs alleged the remainder consisted of industrially manufactured synthetic chemicals, and that Unilever's marketing constituted illegal greenwashing, consumers paying premium prices for products presented as natural and plant-based when the formulations included lab-manufactured compounds the marketing never disclosed. A New York federal judge ruled that Unilever must face those claims under consumer protection law. A separate class action raised concerns about Dove products marketed as hypoallergenic or tear-free, alleging they contained compounds known to trigger allergic responses. That case was also cleared to proceed. These are ongoing proceedings without final verdicts. But they represent documented federal legal challenges to Dove's most foundational marketing claims. Challenges that federal judges allowed to move forward after reviewing the evidence presented. Set the lawsuits aside for a moment and look at the original product, the Dove Beauty Bar. The white oval that has been in American bathrooms since the 1950s is not soap. It is a Syndet bar. And the 1/4 moisturizing cream Dove has advertised for generations in the actual formulation that is primarily stearic acid and sodium stearate, compounds typically derived from animal fat, not the plant-based moisturizers that decades of soft botanical imagery consistently implied. For anyone who spent years buying Dove because they believed it was more natural, more honest, and more skin-caring than the competition, the federal court record and the Syndet bar reality represent a documented gap between what they were told and what they were actually purchasing. That is the avoid list. 5 brands, 5 documented problems, each built on trust that the formulation does not fully justify. Now, let's talk about what actually holds up. And the good news here is real, because several of these options are available at the same stores you already shop at prices that are not far off what you are paying now. Best option number 5, Kirk's Castile Soap. This is the budget pick, and it removes every practical argument for staying with the commercial brands. Kirk's has been making coconut oil Castile soap since 1839, making it the oldest continuously produced Castile soap brand in the United States. Longevity is not a quality guarantee, but the consistency of Kirk's formula across 186 years reflects a production philosophy the commercial soap industry left behind quietly and profitably. The ingredient list for Kirk's original Coco Castile contains 4 items: soap derived from coconut oil, water, glycerin, sodium chloride. That is the complete formulation. No artificial colorants, no sodium lauryl sulfate, no parabens, no synthetic preservatives. The antimicrobial protection comes from the natural properties of saponified coconut oil, the same chemistry behind genuine soap for thousands of years. It is dermatologist tested for sensitive skin and available in a fragrance-free version. It retails at $1 to $2 per bar at Walmart, Target, CVS, and most major grocery chains. That price is worth sitting with. Irish Spring, Softsoap, Ivory, and Dove all sit in the same range or higher. Switching to a genuinely clean, honestly formulated real soap requires no specialty store and no budget adjustment. Kirk's is the zero-sacrifice swap. But if you want independent certification on top of clean ingredients, the next options raise the standard further. Best option number 4, Ethique. This is the one that removes the problem structurally. Ethique is a New Zealand-founded company making concentrated solid bars for body wash, shampoo, conditioner, and skin cleansing. In packaging with zero plastic, the The company holds B Corporation certification from B Lab, the same independent organization that has certified Tillamook, Vital Farms, and Numi Organic Tea. B Corp requires a comprehensive independent audit of environmental practices, social standards, and governance. It is not a self-reported label. It has real accountability behind it. The formulations contain no sodium lauryl sulfate, no parabens, no synthetic fragrance, and no artificial colorants. The solid bar format also carries an ingredient advantage, worth understanding. Conventional liquid body washes require preservatives because they are water-based, and water is where bacteria grow. Solid bars contain no water, which means no growth medium, which means the long preservative lists on liquid soap labels simply do not apply. Ethique is cleaner by format as much as by intention. Ethique is available at Target and Whole Foods. One solid bar is roughly equivalent in use to 2 conventional liquid wash bottles, which makes the per-use price competitive with the commercial brands it replaces. For anyone who wants clean formulations with independently verified credentials available in mainstream retail without a detour to a specialty store, Ethique is one of the most comprehensively certified options on this list. Best option number 3, Dr. Bronner's. If any brand on the best list has done the most documented work to verify its claims through outside organizations, it is this one. Dr. Bronner's has been making Castile soap in Escondido, California since the 1940s. Emanuel Bronner was a third-generation German-Jewish soap maker whose parents were killed in the Holocaust. He came to the U.S. and made soap exactly the way his family had in Europe, from plant oils through true saponification with no synthetic substitutes. The company is still family-owned, still operated by his descendants, and still makes its Castile soap from that same foundational formula. The certification record is substantial. The liquid and bar Castile soaps, with the exception of the eucalyptus scent, carry EWG verified status, which requires complete ingredient disclosure, rigorous safety screening against EWG's hazard database, and full manufacturing transparency. The products are certified USDA organic, under the same standard governing organic food. Key ingredients carry Fair for Life, Fair Trade certification, covering ethical working conditions and fair pricing across the supply chain. The company holds Leaping Bunny certification for cruelty-free production. Select product lines carry Regenerative Organic certified status. A holistic agriculture credential that goes beyond standard organic to encompass soil health, animal welfare, and worker fairness at every level. In 2025, Dr. Bronner's added EWG verified logos to its updated packaging as part of a redesign that also reduced label size to comply with California's recycling standards. A company that voluntarily makes its packaging smaller and harder to notice to meet environmental law, and adds independent verification credentials in the same update, is operating from a fundamentally different set of priorities than the brands currently defending greenwashing lawsuits in federal court. Dr. Bronner's is available at Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, and most major grocery chains. A 32-ounce bottle, properly diluted as the label instructs, serves a 2-person household across multiple uses for roughly 3 months. For anyone who has been using Dove or Dial out of years of habit and is now asking whether what they wash with actually is what the label says, Dr. Bronner's has been on those exact same store shelves the entire time. Best option number 2, Everyone's Soap by EO Products. This is the practical certified middle, the most extensively verified everyday liquid soap available at Target or Costco, at a price that does not require a second thought. EO was founded in San Rafael, California, in 1995. Everyone's Soap carries EWG verified status, the most rigorous third-party ingredient safety certification available for personal care products in the United States. What that designation actually requires? Complete ingredient disclosure with no trade secret fragrance exemption, rigorous screening of every ingredient against EWG's hazard database, and full manufacturing transparency. The brands on the avoid list do not carry it. Most of them would not qualify. The ingredient list for Everyone 3-in-1 soap reads: water, sodium cocoa sulfate, a coconut-derived surfactant significantly gentler than sodium lauryl sulfate, organic aloe vera, plant-based glycerin, organic white willow bark extract, and pure essential oils listed by name: peppermint oil, lavender oil. each one named, none hidden behind the single word fragrance. The products also carry USDA organic certification, the same standard governing the organic produce aisle. A family pumping standard commercial liquid soap at every sink, multiple times a day, with no visibility into what the fragrance formulation actually contains. Everyone's soap sits on the same shelf at a comparable price. The switch requires no specialty store, no meaningful budget change, just reading the label once. The label says everything the commercial brands are structured to keep you from looking for. Best option number 1. Zoom Bar by Indigo Wild. This is the one that answers the question running through this entire investigation. Zoom Bar is made by Indigo Wild, a Kansas City, Missouri company founded in 1995. The most important fact about it is the simplest. It is actual soap. Real soap made through true saponification from coconut oil, palm oil, shea butter, and goat's milk. Not a syndet bar. Not a synthetic detergent product. The same fundamental chemical process that has produced genuine soap for thousands of years is what produces every bar that leaves Indigo Wild's facility. The ingredient list is readable without any chemistry background. Saponified coconut, palm and palm kernel oils, goat's milk, glycerin, pure essential oils listed by name or nothing at all in the unscented version. No artificial colorants, no sodium lauryl sulfate, no parabens, no synthetic preservatives. The glycerin deserves specific attention. Glycerin is a natural byproduct of saponification. Most commercial manufacturers extract it and sell it separately. It is a valuable input for other cosmetic products. What ends up in a commercial syndet bar has had that glycerin deliberately removed. What stays in a Zoom bar is the complete unstripped product of the saponification process. That is why genuinely saponified soaps carry a moisturizing quality that no syndet bar, regardless of how much stearic acid is added or how many cream pour visuals appear on the packaging, can replicate. Indigo Wild holds Leaping Bunny certification. No animal testing at any stage of production or across the supply chain. The bars are made in small batches at Indigo Wild's own facility in Kansas City. Zoom Bar is available at Whole Foods and online at a price that reflects what it actually is. A product made correctly, from ingredients you can name by a company that has not needed a federal lawsuit to clarify what is inside the package. Here is what to look for the next time you are standing in the personal care aisle. 3 things consistently separate a genuinely honest soap from a well-funded story. The first is the word itself. Look at the front of the label. Does it say soap, or does it say beauty bar, cleansing bar, moisturizing bar, body bar? If the word soap is not there, the product is not legally classified as soap and was not made through saponification. That is not a technicality. It is a meaningful substantive distinction about what the product is, how it was made, and what is inside it. The second is fragrance disclosure. If the ingredient list says fragrance with no further specification, the company is using a trade secret exemption to conceal what is producing that scent. The compounds inside that designation do not appear on the label. Brands that use only essential oils and list each one by name are giving you the transparency the generic fragrance designation is specifically designed to withhold. The third is independent certification. EWG Verified is the most rigorous independent safety standard available for personal care products in the United States. Leaping Bunny certifies cruelty-free production with no animal testing across the supply chain. USDA Organic certifies that plant ingredients were grown without synthetic pesticides under the same standard governing organic food. None of these are corporate self-assessments. All require outside verification with real accountability for non-compliance. A brand that has submitted to all 3 has made a categorically different commitment than a brand whose safety and purity claims appear only in its own advertising. The soap in your bathroom is one of the first things that touches your skin every morning, and one of the last things every night. For anyone who has been reaching for the same bar or bottle for years because it felt like the safe, obvious choice, the documented reality of what is inside those products and how the labeling is structured to keep you from looking closely is information you have every right to have before you reach into that shower caddy again. If this investigation changed how you are going to shop next time, share it with someone who still has Dove or Dial on their bathroom shelf. They are reading the label the same way most people do. Now you know what to actually look for.